Yeah. Okay.
Well, you're more welcome to leave your beer just downstairs.
Okay.
It's not going to go anywhere.
All right.
If it does, we'll buy you
Well, what I do, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Forgot to say. This is our rum distillery here at our Portland Grove Club. We also have a distillery in Newport, right across the parking lot from the brewery. There they're making gins and whiskeys, as well as experimenting with some other things. So far, nothing else has come out. So we make our rum here. We do a dark rum and a hazelnut spice rum. The process for it is surprisingly simple. What we do is we start out with, all I missed I said we make our rum here. So.
Yeah.
We start out with these grundies here. We fill them with water, yellow D, dark brown sugar, cane sugar, which is the closest thing you can get to molasses, making rum, and distiller's yeast. It's a little bit like brewing, if you know anything about that. The yeast will actually eat away at the sugars to ferment to create alcohol. So what happens is the yeast will eat away at that sugar that we put in there. And this is a natural process. We don't heat it, we don't do anything to it. And it takes, and the temperature up here, because we're not really climate controlled, take 7 to 12 days, depending on temp, and get to about 15% alcohol just from that first process. From there, we'll transfer from the grundies over to our first still. We have 2 stills. Everything we do is double distilled. We just run it through twice to further make it better. Our first stiller is Tin Man. If anybody wants to, please walk out on the platform. It's encouraged. Tin Man's a 100-gallon still. We fill him up, and these are pot stills, which is the oldest form of still there is out there. This is what like the moonshiners use. And you can see the heat element at the bottom. Basically what it does is it just heats it up to a temperature above alcohol boiling, but still below water, 212, about 190 to 195 degrees. And what happens is the alcohol will actually boil out and vapor up the column, get forced back down around here in the condenser, we call it, which is basically a coil that goes all the way down the bottom. And there'll be cold water in there, which turns it back into a liquid where we collect it. So it's a pretty easy process. There's 3 different stages or alcohols coming through this. There's the heads, the hearts, and the tails. The heads we actually save, collect, and we send down to our distillery in Newport, where they redistill it with a different type of still. It's a reflux still. It's a lot higher temperature, and it'll actually make it pure ethanol, which we then mix with gasoline in our vans down there. It's used about 60-40. That's really all the heads are good for. Then you get the hearts, which is what we want to keep. That's what's the drinkable alcohol. And then the tails, which is just really isn't good for anything. And once you start to get to the end of it, you can use it as brass polish, floor cleaner. It's that kind of alcohol. Yeah, exactly. So of that 100 gallons, we'll get about 20 to 25 usable gallons of hearts. From there, we'll fill up Hank, which is a 50-gallon still. What's that? As far as how do we separate the liquids? We just pull the bucket and put a new one on it. So it's pretty easy. I mean, the distiller knows. Yeah, there's a lot of, once the distiller gets to know it, there's definitely timing. But there's a lot of things they can look for to know when to come in. For example, the heads smell and taste a lot like bananas. What's that?
Is this a gravity test?
Gravity test?
No, it's just a taste test.
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, you can do it, but once the distillers can do it long enough, don't really need to. most of us want. So from there we get to the 50-gallon still, fill that up once we get enough liquid to, and run Hank, which is a little nicer still. You can see the Tin Man, he said it's share welds on the side, so copper running down. But so out of Hank we'll get about another 20 or more usable gallons of the hearts. And when that liquid comes out, it's clear. It's a clear white rum, which we did. What we originally did is we did make and bottle and sell a white rum, which we've now realized was kind of stupid because nobody wants a white rum. So what we're doing now is just our dark and our hazelnut spice rum. The dark rum is the same thing as the white rum, except we actually age it in oak barrels for from 12 to 14 months. You actually see we have a barrel down here. You can see on the side of them our barrels, we get them from Jack Daniels. They do bourbon, and if you know anything about bourbon, there's a lot of laws governing making bourbon to make it bourbon. Prohibition era stuff. Try to corner the market way back in the 1970s. They can only use a barrel once, which means they sell them off real cheap, and you're actually getting 5 or 6 uses out of them. A lot of brewers buy them now for their oak-aged beers. It's good stuff. Great barrels, great quality. They know how to charm perfectly. So that's what we use. We'll age our dark rum in there about a year. The hazelnut spice rum is done just a little differently. On the second pass here, what we'll actually do is hang, so you got one right here. It's just kind of a hop sack full. It's got our fresh order roasted hazelnuts, different spices, cinnamon, nutmeg, bitter orange peel, stuff like that. And that's in there, and it hangs from that column. And when the alcohol vapors up, it actually grabs at the oils in it. So it doesn't actually soak in it. It just pulls at the oils and gets it wants to grab anything it can that's coming off. So when it comes out, it's clear, but it's got this incredible hazelnut essence to it, which we find is a bit. Originally, we started just aging it in barrels, but we realized that it's just way too powerful for hazelnut. So what we started doing was taking the hazelnut out here and mix it to 50 with our dark rum. Just give it a little, get the oakiness and the caramel from the barrel, and it cuts that hazelnut flavor down just a little bit. If you do taste it, it is still very, very strong hazelnut flavor, which is quite delicious. From there, once it was a barrel, we have our fancy bottle filling machine here. It does 4 at a time. Caps and corks somewhere around here. We do everything by hand as far as corking, the heat sleeves on, and actually one by one seal it up. Pretty much the only things aren't done around here by hand is actual transfer of the liquid. Empty cases are brought up by hand, and then full brought back down. Bottles are rinsed out by hand. Sugar, we got a 50-pound bags of brown sugar out here by hand. It just literally is, micro craft distillery. Handcrafted beers. Right now it's coming mostly from Hawaii. We used to get a lot of it from down south until after Katrina destroyed a lot of the stuff. Prices from there went up and stuff. Getting a lot of it. It's probably bounced back by now, I would think. More than likely it's going to.
You guys do or have they just straight white rum hazelnut flavors for sale? No.
No, we never did that. We always either aged it or mixed it with carbonation.
Okay, cool. I think it'd be really fascinating to try it, but
Just straight.
yeah.
It's incredible how strong hazelnut is. It's overpowering. To the point that the flavor is that's what it's described. Maybe like taking Everclear straight or something. That's how strong the hazelnut is.
Oh wow, okay.
Intense.
Alright, cool.
It's very mellow. It's really nice. If you guys do want to taste any, last November the state of Oregon passed a law so we can't give like free tastes. So we just charge $1 a taste. Sample them. We'll at least set you up downstairs. I think so, yeah. And we can taste any of the spirits. I mean, if you guys want to taste the gins or the whiskeys as well.
So the gins and whiskeys, those are all done in like
In Newport, yeah. And I'm a lot less familiar with the process at home. Does it down there. Every time I visit the still, explain to me what he does, and it winds up so many tasters that every time I walk out of it, that's why I avoid the house of spirits we call it. So I avoid that. This is the trouble. I encourage you guys to go there.
Newport is really cool.
Yeah. Best sunset there too. House of spirits. If you want to come downstairs and take some